It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associate Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo Bills alum Stevie Johnson. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to another edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show. I'm Rich Gaenzler with Jared Shatkin, Dr. Jared Shatkin, beg your pardon. Stevie Johnson coming up with us. He's going to be in town this weekend, and we'll be at the game on Monday night against the Broncos. And of course, we'll have the round table getting going. We'll tease you about the Bronco game, of course, far in advance of it on the show this week. But first, we have to go around the water cooler. All right, so behind us, you see, obviously, the Bengal and the Bill helmet. We're going to talk about the game 24-18. And, well, hey, we don't like to brag or anything, but both of us picked Cincinnati to win this game, like a lot of people did. The Bills came in as an underdog in that game. But obviously a lot to talk about, Jared, from that game. And I don't even know where to start, but let's go with the offense first. Obviously, earlier in the game, looked like they were really going on tempo, and Josh's touchdown was great. And then there was just that big, giant, gaping sort of black hole vacuum of nothingness from the offense. What can we possibly do to prevent that from happening? Because when that happened, it was happening to the Bengals at the same time too. And if that defense can hold the Bengals from doing anything offensively, that's when our offense has to take over, right?
That's kind of what I'm thinking is if we're going to get a stop on them, we should be even more aggressive trying to score. I think kind of the goal was to get the running game going to kind of run some time so the defense didn't have to be on the field, but it kind of just ended up making the defense go on the field a lot more. I didn't understand the play calls when so clearly tempo was working early and late, and it's just that middle part, that lag where we were trying to get the running game going. But what the Bengals did, which the Bills didn't do, is they realized the running game wasn't going to work pretty early, and they were like, this is over. But we kind of kept going under center, kept going with the scripted plays instead of just letting Josh be Josh, and I think that's kind of what ultimately led to that loss.
Kincaid obviously was terrific. I mean, the fumble was what it was. The guy's flying in midair, and a good play by Pratt. I mean, give him credit on that play. But Kincaid continues to impress. Keep getting that guy the football.
I mean, that's kind of what I think we all would have been talking about, though, if we would have won this game.
Yep.
Is this was a Dalton Kincaid game, because he's getting hot on that last drive, too. I think he had 2 catches in a row. He had that big play, and then he gets it, knocked out for a fumble. So if we score a touchdown that drive and then the drive after, we're not talking about the offensive coordinators being down. We're not talking about Sean McDermott maybe people wanting him to be fired. We're talking about a huge win versus the Bengals. So you saw that depressed look on Kincaid's face, but actually this is a game I think he can grow from. He had 10 catches as a rookie tight end. That's almost unheard of. Dalton Kincaid is going to be a huge part of this offense going forward for years to come.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, Coach McDermott prides him on his 1/11th approach, right? Mm-hmm. And that applies to the receivers, right? Get open.
Get open.
Get open.
I mean, I do think there's plays that Josh is missing. There's guys running open where he's trying to go deep, but that's what happens when you're pushing and you're trying to make a play. When you're playing the Bengals and you have to score points, you go deep instead of the crossing route every once in a while. And maybe if we got up on them a little earlier with an up-tempo offense and we kept up with them instead of having to catch up with them, then I think we could call a different type of game plan. I think what has been a little concerning to me is that 2020 and 2021, I don't think we had the issues offensively. So I just am kind of confused why we're trying to do this kind of complete new game plan where we could get the running game involved later in the game once we get to ice it instead of having to play catch up the whole game.
So you're saying it's probably stashed somewhere, but get out that Daboll playbook.
That Daboll playbook.
Blow the dust off of it, and let's open that thing up and start running the plays out of that, right? I mean, Dorsey was there for it.
He was there, and I think he has those plays. We run them sometimes. You see it. When our offense is clicking, it seems like that same offense where it's let Josh just be Superman. Let him be the run game. And you heard Chris Collinsworth talking about it too. Let Josh be the run game. That's when the Bills are the best. Even a guy who's that knowledgeable about football is saying, let this happen for the Bills, and you can see that's what works.
So defense. I saw virtually nothing out of Rousseau, Epinesa, Oliver, Von Miller. That's a problem. That's got to get better, especially with a super thin defensive backfield now with so many injuries, whether it's Benford or Dane Jackson or Micah Hyde, Bernard with the concussion. I mean, these guys are really up against it. They need to have performance from their front four, front eight, whatever the rotation is.
100%. And we have to blitz to get any pressure. And against the Bengals, the blitz wasn't even getting there. So then you leave Teron Johnson and Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer on the island. And that's kind of what happened to the defense the entire game is we were trying to get pressure, and I think Sean McDermott had a pretty good defense because the fact they only scored 24 is pretty impressive, where our pass rush was pretty much abysmal the entire game. The coverage wasn't phenomenal. It was just a well-coached game to let them only score 24 points.
Yeah, I mean, they really held Chase down. They held Boyd down. Higgins, I thought, was probably their best wide receiver. And then obviously their tight ends had a huge game. We talked about that last week about, their tight ends, no big deal. But that comes down to coaching and preparedness. And Coach McDermott is a defensive coach. And they were not prepared for those Bengals tight ends.
They definitely were not. And I think, Bernard goes out early. That changes some things. But these Bengals tight ends aren't like the world beaters that you think they're going to be. But they're wide open. I mean, any tight end in the NFL is going to have a decent game if they're wide open like that. So, yeah, we're letting these guys leak right into the flat. And Irv Smith has a touchdown. I haven't even seen, maybe he has one fantasy point before that the entire year. It's just kind of head-scratching in some places where our defense and our offense are going. It's almost like they're not prepared, even though they had 11 days to prepare.
Again, back to coaching. End of the first half, they probably could have run a deep ball or maybe a quick out with one timeout left with 14 seconds left. They might have been able to do something there. And then, of course, when the challenge flag was thrown out on the sure field no catch, when they absolutely had to have a timeout there and they blew it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that probably lost us the game is not having a timeout to be able to get prepared on that final defensive drive versus the Bengals. But also, even if Sherfield caught the ball, let's say, we're having a chunk play every play at that point. Our offense is rolling. It is way more important to have your time than to have that play because the next play, I think we went to 9 yards for Sherfield. So there seems like there's a little bit of miscommunication between kind of the whole entire coaching staff and the rest of the team. And the problem is we have the players. If we have the players on offense, we have decent guys on defense, but in this NFL, we have the players on offense, and we're not scoring enough points. And if you only score 18 points a game, I don't care who you play, you're probably not going to beat them in the NFL because everybody scores points these days.
All right, so we'll do Stevie Johnson. He's going to be coming up next. He'll be in town this weekend for the game. Got a bunch of appearances going on. We'll get his take on what's going on with the Bills. Of course, the Mafia will be here. Then the final segment, we'll break down the Bills and the Broncos. Monday Night Football, another national televised tilt at Highmark Stadium. That's all coming up as we continue on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
It's apple picking time. When was the last time you bit into an apple? With affordable Shatkin Mini Dental Implants, you can. Stabilize your dentures and replace missing teeth in as little as one visit. You can be you again, only better. Call the Aesthetic Associates Center today at 716-839-1700 for your free consultation.
All right, with Stevie Johnson, 13. Going to be back in town again this weekend. And it's great to see you, man, as always. Looking good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. It's always good to see you too, boy. We had some good times, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So you got some things going on this weekend that I absolutely want to talk about. I know you're going to be doing an appearance at a vintage store in town, right?
Yeah, everything vintage. So we'll have shout out to Skilly. Skilly's the owner down there on Hurdle Avenue. Everything vintage. You can look it up, and we'll have a fashion show and we'll have a comedy show. I have a few comedian friends, and they wanted to get on and provide their skill to to the community, give them something fun to do. So once again, Bills, like I said earlier, Bills blessed me with this opportunity to come out there. Hey, I utilized that to create the neighborhood. So we'll have that on November 12th. Yeah, you come down at 5:30, and it'll last up until 9 o'clock. We have like 4 comedians, so it's pretty cool. Then we have a fashion show by Maddie Ross.
You're getting a lot of frequent flyer miles too while you're traveling back and forth from left to right coast, man.
Yeah, putting it to work, putting it to use, when I can.
So tell me a little bit. So these are all amazing things, and obviously you can, we'll let you pub all your social media at the end of this, but definitely go there and see Stevie this weekend and around the Turkey Bowl time and all that. So I got to get your read, man. They already have more losses than they had last year combined, man. What's going on with our Bills, dude?
Yeah, no, nothing. It's tough. We hit a couple tough teams. We got wins where we needed to. Well, one I think like the Jacksonville and London. I wish we would have had that one. Aside from that, we played against a tough Bengals offensive line. You couldn't really get to Burrow, but if you look at the tape, that line did really good. Like they did good, and it's just something that we'll have to see later. Something we'll have to adjust and get to later. But right now, I don't have nothing to say about it. Just they got us. The team that got us, they got us.
Fair enough. Hey, I got to ask you. I don't think I ever did, but you played for San Francisco for a year. Was that like sort of a dream come true for you, or no? Growing up in that area?
Yeah, it was bittersweet though. Because I didn't get to the playoffs with the Bills. The goal was to get to the playoffs and break that drought and et cetera, et cetera. That's where I started. So when I went to the Niners, it was cool because I went there. That's the home team, but I rather broke the record or broke the drought and then went and chose, going to play at my hometown. So once again, it's not always fair, but it was worth it though. Being able to spend that time going through that process. I got to meet new friends. So it was worth it, but it didn't feel fair at the time. But.
Yeah, I look forward to the 12th at the vintage store on everything vintage on Hurdle. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I hope we can definitely catch up there.
I was saying like just like how you saying with that, like Skilly's never done this before at everything vintage. This is fairly new. He's taking a risk, letting the people in like this. It's gonna be a limited amount of people, but still, this is something that he's sacrificing. And that's what it's about. Like we all taking sacrifices, and we just trying to stay positive and progressive, and hopefully nothing bad happens or unfortunate happen. But and people just understand like there's more to come. We support it. There'll be more to come.
Love it, dude. All right, so for everybody and anyone that's watching this should already know all of this, but let people know your socials and where people can find your books and all that good stuff.
Indeed. So our children's book, that's most important. The future is most important. So you can go on imaginewepublishers.com and you can find our Freddie Jackson book. You can find mines. You can find you can pre-order the Fitz Magic book. It should be coming out in a few weeks. So it may be up there soon. And then you can also find our Visions coloring book by me and Zach McCabe, who's our illustrator, which is a coloring book, like I said. So imaginewepublishers.com. To be updated on anything, you can get on our Facebook. You can just type in Stevie Johnson. On X is Stevie Johnson 13, and Instagram is hbhf.stevie.
Love it.
That's we try to put everything out as much as we can so you guys can see what's going on and tap in different lanes that we got going.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, so I'm assuming you're going to the game on Monday night.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there with my kids also. So
awesome.
They looking forward to it. Yeah, they looking forward to checking out they Bills in the atmosphere.
Will they all be wearing 13 jerseys?
I don't know. I'm actually give them an option. And give them an option. I'm pretty sure. Who knows? I don't know.
Are the Bills your favorite team naturally?
Naturally, yeah. They all go for the Bills whenever they own. They got their personal teams that they like, players and stuff, but it's like a home thing,
Yeah,
they grew up in that Western New York, that they see that blue and they comfortable with it.
It looks good on everybody. You can't go wrong with blue, right?
Right.
All right, brother.
Sweet.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate your time. It was so nice of you to do this, man. Safe travel here to Western New York, and we look forward to seeing you this weekend. And everybody, hey, look, Christmas is coming. I mean, I hate this time of year is so hard for me because I just don't want to get that deep into winter, but it's reality. We live it. So, yeah, Christmas is coming. For your kids, for other people's kids, buy this man's books, will you?
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
go only spark the mind and help them out,
All right, brother. We love you, man. And like I said, safe travel, and we'll see you this weekend.
Appreciate you, brother.
Go Bills. You got it, brother. All right, man.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, the clinical director here at the new Shatkin Dental Health Postgraduate Dental Residency Program. For years, I've felt there's been a need to help those patients who just can't afford quality care but want to be treated in a private dental office setting. Shatkin Dental Health will save you 20 to 30% on the procedures you need without compromising the care you deserve.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile and receive a dental cleaning and x-rays for only $43. And as always, consultations are free.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Look at this crew. Man, we got a lot of newbies here, except for Pat, who had been here in our inaugural season. You were with us over at Sorrentino's, Pat.
Yeah, that's correct, Rich. With other vets, I think it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Yeah, and then, of course, this would be your son, Nate.
My son, Nathan, yep.
And somehow he got what you don't have up top.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss that too much.
I thought we were going to spend the entire segment on that. It's going to be so easy.
I'm very jealous, and I don't use his hair products.
This is Tammy as well. She is a former Buffalo Jill and joins us in the huddle as well. And, of course, you know Jared, and I'm Rich.
Hey there.
So here we go. Let's talk a little bit about the Cincinnati game, and I will start with Pat, you first. I mean, obviously a lot went on. I'll start with you. I'll ask you about coaching first. Overall, obviously there were some decisions made in the game that people questioned throughout the week. Play calling, certainly on both sides of the ball, you could critique.
Yeah.
So what do you think in general about coaching?
I thought it was a little predictable. I don't like some of the plays we're doing in the backfield, Rich, where we start out with Cook 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It seems like the defense knows what we're doing before we even do it.
Well, I mean, look, they have pro scouts. Every team's got pro scouts.
Yeah.
Maybe theirs were better than ours. I think we got seriously outcoached.
Absolutely.
And we talked, about the tight ends last week for Cincinnati. And who beat us? Their tight ends, right? What does that come down to? Coaching. End of story. Nate, what about you?
Go for the wide receivers, so they schemed up something for their tight ends to be open.
100%.
They burned us.
Nate, why can't we scheme our guys to be open? What do you think the problem is offensively for us? He mentioned the run game, your dad. Now, what do you think about the pass game? Why is it just not clicking?
I think pre-snap motion. I love pre-snap motion. We could have that more often. Obviously, pre-snap motion is very, very effective thing to do. So just tricking the defense anytime you can.
Yeah, for sure. And then Tammy, I'll ask you about the defense. I mean, the defense, they're doing what they can, considering the fact they've had so many injuries, and they had a ton of injuries again in that game alone. So, they're doing their best, but they need to see some guys turn it up a little bit, especially on the defensive front, I would think.
Well, I think, honestly, if I was the quarterback, I would probably bribe them. I'm sorry. Like, maybe somebody might want a new car or a Rolex or something, offer some incentives to do what they got to do. Like, I mean, we have to, defense wins championships, right? It's not that hard to score. We have good offense, but we need to stop the other team from scoring. So.
Right. Yeah, it was tough to watch, and especially tough to watch. Jared, we talked a little bit about this in the opening segment, but the middle of the game, the offense just was invisible.
Yeah, and don't you think that if we stop them 3 times on defense, which I never thought we would do, in those 3 possessions we should have at least got some points, 2 touchdowns, I would think, and that would have been a totally different game because we still had a chance to win it at the end of the game. If we would have scored on one of those 3 drives, we probably would have had a good chance to be in the driver's seat for a victory where we probably shouldn't have gotten one.
So, I mean, all 3 of you, because we talk every week, obviously, on the show, but I want to hear from all 3 of you in terms of your confidence level going forward. the schedule does not get easier, Tammy. So what's your confidence level in this team at this point? We have more losses today than we had all of last year.
Well, the one person on the team that's always ready is Diggs. He wants the ball. He lets everybody know he's got the energy. He never gets tired. He wants the ball. So get him open. Find a way to make sure that he's open to get that ball and let him do what he's got to do. And it also helps my parlay, so I'm okay with that.
Which is legal, by the way, in New York State. And just, anyway, what about you, Nate?
I think Josh Allen needs to throw to Gabe Davis more. He was great a year or two ago. You just got to start targeting him more, get some more yards to him.
He's getting single coverage, so that's a good idea. Diggs is getting
Get
all
him
the double
open.
coverage, so I think going to Davis is probably a good idea.
Yeah, and I think that too is, you hear this term, scheming a play to get guys open, right?
Yeah.
And that is part of it, right? Design the play so that Gabe Davis can be open with single coverage, right, Pat?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think they got to get in a room, like I said. They got to come up with something different because, I don't know, I'm seeing the same thing. When's the last time we watched the Bills like, oh, that's something new. Yeah. That's something I haven't seen before. And
well, you know what we did? We saw the flea flicker.
Miami, yeah, but that didn't really do much.
The flea flicker when we couldn't possibly be running anymore because we were down by 2 touchdowns. Who are you trying to trick there?
All right, guys, let's go now and do some trivia with the 2-minute drill. I'll ask you this one, and I think you'll probably know this. You might know this.
We're going back a while.
Let's go back to the Super Bowl years, okay? There was a playoff game when a particular linebacker had an interception that he returned for a touchdown. Now, that linebacker had some offspring that became a Buffalo Sabre. You know who I'm talking about? Anybody can chime in on this. He wore number 54, and his son wore 95 for the
I
Sea
see the face. No, it's Carlton Bailey.
It is Carlton Bailey. That's right.
I can see the face. I saw the face.
Justin Bailey was his son.
I played with
I was going to say Bryce Papa.
Guys, thanks so much for being here. Be a part of the show.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we'll come back, and we're going to talk about the Bills on Monday Night Football taking on the Denver Broncos and a rejuvenated, albeit Russell Wilson, who's beat up a lot in his time in Denver. We're going to talk about that, Jared and I, when we come back on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show.
I'm Princess Glitterhead. I was in pain my whole life with my teeth. I want to feel better. What could I do? I could actually go all the way and actually fix myself, be healthy, get rid of all the decay. So I made a free consultation appointment. I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go get my teeth back. And I can see it helping so many people, including myself. It's gonna change your life. It really does. Wow. Oh my God.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
I don't know why I'm so emotional about it.
My self-esteem wasn't where it should have been because I was really, really self-conscious about my teeth. When I walked into Shatkin Dental, I was instantly ready for the residency program. I knew that that is what I needed. I needed the discount. I needed the dentist that was going to fix everything. My self-esteem is already getting much, much, much higher just from starting the procedures.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile for quality dental care you can afford.
All right, final segment of this week's Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin. Broncos come in. They haven't lost in a month. They beat Green Bay. They beat Kansas City. And they have the bye. And they come in against a team, the Bills, that are wary, to say the least. I mean, I don't know if anyone, the Bills are out of a playoff spot right now. They have more losses than they had a year ago. Shaky, I think, Jared, at this point, and the Broncos are probably coming in with all kinds of confidence, and Russell Wilson's actually playing really well.
Yeah, and those receivers they wanted to trade away are playing pretty well, too. Goes to show you what a couple weeks of football could do, because right now the Broncos are a scary team.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton comes in, 33 catches, 6 touchdowns. You know about Jerry Jeudy. Marvin Mims, they love Marvin Mims, who was an early round draft pick this year for the Broncos, has a touchdown. He's averaging over 20 yards a catch. And then Russell Wilson is fantastic. He's got a better passer rating than Josh does at this point. Yeah. 16 touches and 4 interceptions. He's playing well.
And they got a pretty good running back, Javonte Williams, there. So they're a scary offense. They have Sean Payton calling the shots. They've had some bad luck this year, and I think the Bills are going to get their best shot going on this game.
Yeah, for sure. And you look, we can talk about the Broncos like we did Cincinnati last week in terms of their tight ends, because they're nothing to write home about at all. Chris Manhertz, the former Canisius basketball player, is on the Broncos, and he's primarily a blocking tight end. But they don't have much of anything in terms of a receiver at that position. They're more blockers. But we said that about Cincinnati, too. And Sean Payton's been in the league a long time. And I'm sure he watched that Cincinnati game and took notes coming off what their tight ends did against us.
He was licking his chops watching that Cincinnati game, thinking maybe we don't have any linebackers out there. So he's saying, hey, this is your guys' game to get open. Because look what those two guys on Cincinnati did. Exactly. And it does feel a little bit like a similar team to Cincinnati, but the Broncos have shown some holes on the defense this year. So I am a little more confident this week.
Yeah, they've lost by an average of 5 points. I mean, the Broncos throw out the Miami game. That obviously doesn't, we're not putting that into the mix. And they split with Kansas City. Man, that's pretty impressive for a team. People at the beginning of the year thought they were going to be pretty good with Peyton coming in and a change at the top. Now maybe they are hitting a little bit of a groove. Cooper and Benito are their best sack guys, 4.5 and 5.5. They're basically rush linebackers for the most part. But they got a pretty good defensive backfield. Surtain's back there, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, all good players on their back end.
Yeah, we got to jump on them really quick this game. I know their back end is great, but they're definitely vulnerable up the middle of the field where Dalton Kincaid can play a role and Stephon Diggs can play a role. And if we can get up on them early, I think we can put them away and we can get kind of back into form.
Yeah, and Wilson's been sacked 26 times, so the guys who we mentioned earlier in the show, we got to see something out of 57 and out of 40 and out of 50 and out of 91 up front.
Yeah.
And I mean, Leonard Floyd, I think, has been pretty good, all things considered. Maybe their best pass rusher for the 9 games we've played. But they got to get a pass rush against this team.
Yeah, they got to get a pass rush, and because the guys in the back end they can only cover so long, and Russell Wilson can run around back there too, just like Josh. So. Yeah, these guys really have to get up for this game as well.
And, of course, question marks on the defense in terms of injuries. You got Dodson. Will Klein be up? I would suspect he will be if Bernard can't go. And then, Jackson and Benford were both hurt. So is Micah Hyde in the Cincinnati game. So they are going to be particularly thin. And these guys that we talked about earlier are going to be pressed to be even more of contributors in terms of Douglas and Joseph in this game.
Yeah, those guys are, you signed them a week ago. You think they're going to be inactive? No. Joseph and Douglas are going to play huge roles just like they did versus Cincinnati.
All right, let's get your prediction for this game.
I think the Bills get back into form. I predict them to win 31-17, finally get over that 25-point mark.
Okay. I'm going to go, largely in part because of the Bronco defense and a lot of question marks, especially up the middle against them. That sounds crazy, but I think complementary football might actually work in this game. They might be able to run the ball against this Bronco team. So I'll take them 23-10. The Bills win at home and up their record to 6-4, and boy, do they need it. All right, great job as always. Thanks to our Mafia crew that came on, the Bills Roundtable. Thanks to Stevie Johnson for coming on. Thanks to Dr. Todd Shatkin, Aesthetic Associates, the Shatkin Dental Health Group, and also to you for watching. Bills, Broncos, Monday Night Football, high mark coming up. We'll see you next week on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Go Bills!
In the Pocket is sponsored by Mini Dumpster Rental. Call 716-429-6362. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.